So today I have an interview with the author formerly known as Laura Tiebert. Let's get into that. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. Today, I have a wonderful author, blogger, experimentalist person with me here today, Laura Tiebert. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Definitely. And the two of us have actually been in conversation for I think a few months now, maybe I don't even remember when we first said hi to each other, but we've just been talking kind of since then because you started in the year 2019. You started a really awesome thing, a cool journey that you're going on, and you're taking a lot of people with you with your blog. So I'm not going to talk about it. I kind of want you to tell my viewers what's up with your blog, what's going on there.
Sure. Well, on January 1st, I decided I would live like Prince for the year 2019. As you know, as Prince said at the 1985 AMAs, life is death without adventure. Every month I am doing something that I saw Prince do over and over again as I studied and researched his life that I believe led to his extraordinary success. And as the purple guinea pig, as people are calling me, I'm trying those things out on myself to see if I also can be more successful in my chosen endeavors.
Very cool. And I've been following along. There was one month where you just dressed as flamboyantly as you could for the whole month. Uh,
That's right.
I did enjoy that one because that one featured a lot more photos of you during
Yes.
that month, as opposed to just the writing, the articles and stuff. But in April, you did a really big thing for the month of April, which was you changed your name to an unpronounceable symbol for an entire month.
Yes, I did. Because, you can't live like Prince if you don't adopt a symbol as your name. So, this is the symbol. I created it in an art class I took, which, which was actually also because of living like Prince. I had done March was a month of exploring how Prince saw color when he heard sound. And so, as part of
Oh.
that, I took a painting class, and in that class, I wound up drawing this symbol, and it's a heart with sun rays around it. So yes, that was my identity in the month of April. Try putting this on a name tag. I did.
I actually saw that you went to like business functions and they were nice enough that they drew your symbol on your name placard. I was like, oh, that's so cool that,
Yeah.
they're following along too. Like that was really nice.
People are really surprising me. They are getting on board and just jumping in and enjoying it along with me, and also just putting up with the general craziness of it. It helps, I think, that I live in the Minneapolis area. People here
Hmm.
are just naturally attuned to Prince and all things purple. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. People have accepted me as my new identity, even though they couldn't pronounce my name.
I thought that that was actually a really cool thing. And it got me thinking, like, if I was to go by a symbol, like what would my symbol look like? And I still have no clue. But the cool thing about it was you doing that made
Mhm.
me think about it and made my gears turn a little bit
Yeah.
because at this point in my life, that's a thing Prince did. Prince is the only one who would ever have the gall to do something like that. And it's cool to see somebody like, no, I'm going to do it. And it's like, wait a minute, just anybody could do this? Wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, hey, why not? And what I discovered was in a lot of ways, a symbol has more meaning than maybe a name just made out of letters, right? Like a symbol has a visual feel to it. It has makes it can evoke more emotion, I think, just by looking at it. And it was fascinating. I started wondering, maybe in the future people will just have a symbol as their name. Again, Prince always way ahead of his time, so it would not surprise me. But it did really make me think about what I stood for, and it led to some thought-provoking conversations because people people started asking, hey, like Native Americans don't name their, themselves until they get to a certain age and they know what they're about. And you can just plumb the depths of things like this forever. But yeah, I would recommend that people come up with a symbol for themselves. I mean, even if you don't take it to the step of, changing your name, it can really be an enlightening thing to try.
And of course, in the intro, I said, I'm going to talk to the author formerly known as Laura Tiebert, but you actually have you are going by Laura again now because that was only for the month of April.
Yes, I'm doing these things for 1 month at a time. Now, I have been challenged by a couple people that in December I should put all these things together, like all 11 things I do up until December, and do them all in 1 month. So it will be like juggling while standing in quicksand with my hair on fire. So.
What was this month? What was May? Because we're going into June now. So what was May and what's June going to be?
In May, I'm exploring my alter ego, and I came up with a name for her. And I, in fact, did a photo shoot in downtown Minneapolis, dressed as her and posing. And I'm telling you, it was the most uncomfortable and terrifying thing I've ever done. I mean, this whole project is hugely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm living so far outside my comfort zone. I'm living in my uncomfort zone.
Yeah, but that's also kind of the point, though.
It is. It's the point. And really, that's you've touched on what I'm hoping to do. The purpose of this is to I'm hoping I can inspire others to take a leap outside their comfort zone and live a more remarkable life. So, I did that this last month by standing in front of a photographer dressed, sort of channeling Sheena Easton. That's what I was doing. And I had Lisa Lovante, who was a model and was in a few of Prince's videos like Gangster Glam and Get Off.
Okay.
She came and coached me on how to do princely poses. So she had it down pat, and she taught me a mantra that I had to use to stare into the camera when I was my alter ego. Do you want me to say the mantra?
Can I? Yeah, can you?
It does have one word I have to censor, but it's I will collapse your castle with one look if you F with me. And then the shutter would snap.
And you said it before every shot? Is that what you said?
A lot of them.
Yeah?
Listen, I'm a suburban mom. This is not, I mean, I'm nice. This is way outside my comfort zone, but it was exhilarating. In fact, it got a little scary because I could see this starting to take over my life. It was a little bit too fun, but it does. In June, my theme is nope. No, because, Prince would just say no to things. He didn't want to do it. No, not going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for a suburban mom who's accommodating and helping her family and sacrificing herself, oh my gosh, you need dinner at this time. Well, I'll come home. I'll do this. Yeah. So no.
I love it. I think I'm going to do that too, just because I don't want to do things.
Now you know why I'm so excited about June.
It seems also after May, doing the alter ego could be a little emotionally draining as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I think the Nope month is a good follow-up to that sort of month.
I agree.
Photo shoots are surreal and a completely different thing than anybody might think that they are.
Oh, yeah. It's
so
hard
weird
to be in front of the camera, people. It is hard. Yeah. And especially, Prince was a shy guy. So, to learn how to come out of your shell and do that, I mean, yeah, it's, again, more testament to his extraordinary talent.
Hey, I didn't even notice that you gotten written about in the in a magazine. Which magazine?
Guidepost.
Guidepost. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh my God, this is the craziest thing. Do you know Guidepost?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's a Christian magazine. It's founded by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking. And,
okay.
Yeah. So it's been around since the late 40s, and it's got a massive circulation of about 2 million. And I guarantee you they are largely not Prince fans. So they're stories of hope and inspiration, and it's a great organization. As it turns out, Prince was a subscriber for a long
Oh.
time. He got a subscription in 1997, which, as we know, is the year after his son had died.
Mm.
And that kind of got me, and he was a subscriber until his death. Like, when he died, someone from Paisley Park called the Guideposts, and there was a subscription under Roger Nelson, and
Mm.
they called to cancel it. But there was a small gap in the 2000s, but he drew a lot from Guideposts, so it means a lot.
There you go. I mean, inspirational stories are great for anybody. And, there was actually a conversation that I had in the comments just a little bit ago where people were like, Prince was fearless and he didn't care what anybody said. And I'm like, well, I've talked now to a few people who have been close to Prince, and all of them say, like, yeah, he didn't let criticism change what he was going to do anyway,
Right.
but that the criticism did actually like affect him. Like, he's human,
Yeah,
like,
of
we
course.
all want to be loved, we all want people
Yeah.
to like us, and he didn't like
Yeah.
getting criticized.
No, no. Yeah, I mean, I think he was, we know he was a lifelong spiritual seeker.
Yeah.
And, he needed those stories as much as any of the rest of us. So, yeah, so it was great. They really wanted Prince in the magazine. And that story was about a year in the making. I went back and forth with them for about a year. And yeah, they were thrilled. They wanted to get him in there. So they're like, this might be our only chance.
Well, because he didn't say yes, so now they can vicariously do it through you. That's cool, though.
Yeah,
I like
yeah. So
that.
that's super cool. I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope it reaches some people who don't see Prince in that light at all.
Which
So
which issue is it? Like in the most recent issue,
June,
or?
July.
Okay, so it'll be like the next one. Nice.
It's
Okay.
the one that's come out right now. Yeah, so it's online right now, and there's a print version. Looks a little different.
Very
So
cool. But we were talking about this is living Prince's a year, and you write a daily blog about your experiences of each of these things, and like that's a lot of exploration within each theme of each month, which is really cool, and I'm sure you're growing a lot as a person. Is this something that you're looking to possibly go into 2020 as well and try to develop even more things, or is this year kind of I'm going to learn everything I can in this year, and then anything that I liked, I'm going to take it into my life going forward? But is this like an ongoing project, or?
what I'd like to do is I'd like to teach this. I mean,
uh,
live like Prince in 2020, right?
okay.
I'd like to walk with people as they do this themselves. I mean, I'm completely transformed, and it's month 5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'd like to bring people along on this next year. And I'm a writer, right? So I'm hopeful that one day it might also be a book. I'm certainly live journaling it as it happens. So yeah, so I don't know if I'll continue doing new things in 2020, but I certainly will be looking to find ways to teach it and share it, with more people. I've got a lot
Definitely.
of people following, and I know they'd like to try some of this for themselves.
And you did mention that you were a writer, and I guess I did too when I introduced you as the author.
Yeah.
But but for those, because we haven't actually talked about some of your previous work, can you tell us a little bit about some of the other books that you wrote? Because then people might go, "Oh, she wrote that. Oh, okay."
Yeah, well, I have The Rise of Prince is the book that Alex Hahn and I wrote together. It was published in 2017. It's a biography. It's Prince's years, 1958 to 1988. And really, that's what started this Living Like Prince project, because as we were researching and studying Prince's life, I started noticing, patterns of decisions
Mm.
that Prince made over his career, and they were very intentional. I mean, the way Prince lived was with intention. right? There were no accidents. And I started to realize that, not Prince not only left us a legacy in the form of the music, in the form of, the musicians he mentored, but he also left us a legacy, almost like a secret legacy of how to live a life. I realized that what I had in my hands was a roadmap, that if I followed it for a year and I made the same decisions that Prince made, that I might also be able to live a more extraordinary life. So that's what led me here. I think it's a little unusual in that, it's sort of an expert taking what she knows and applying it on a very personal level.
Yeah.
And and so I'm using myself as the guinea pig to see, can I really change? I mean, can making decisions like Prince really change my life? And
Yeah.
so far, I will tell you, the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you use the word roadmap.
Mm.
During when I talked with Shelby J, that was actually something she specifically said. She said that like Prince
Uh,
laid out the roadmap. She said he laid out the roadmap to life and said like
yes.
this is what you got to do.
Wow. Did she say
She
that?
actually said that.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
of course I think of it that way as well. Anybody who's seen my Prince was a modern day sage video, because that's what a sage does. Is a sage says, "Here's all the lessons. It's your job to be the student."
They were all hiding in plain sight. It was almost like following a trail of breadcrumbs, and I was collecting them as I went along. And so, for example, in January, I ate like Prince and I fasted. I mean, Prince
Hmm.
famously fasted to stay trim. And, in the 2014 Rolling Stone article, the last Rolling Stone article on him, he talks about not eating for periods of days. Now, I don't know if it's because he forgot, because he was working so much. I mean, that seems very plausible. but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'll say I felt more energized and creative. I mean, I do not want to replicate that month. That's for sure my least favorite month. And then, as you referenced, I mean, in February, I emulated the way Prince dressed up for everything he did, and I ditched the mom jeans and and got dressed up every day and got noticed. Ironically, February was the snowiest February in Minnesota history.
Oh
So
no.
half the time I was sitting at home, fully dressed up, hair, makeup, dress, shoes, in the middle of a snowstorm, working from home. But
Yeah, that month might have been better maybe in July.
it might have, but I did feel more professional, and I think I got more done. I mean, I felt more yeah, I felt more present with everything I was doing, and I think I held myself to a little higher standard than if I was in fuzzy slippers. But and there is actually a phenomenon that I learned about called enclothed cognition. So
Okay.
it's scientifically proven that what you wear does affect your psychology. So it's almost like people say, "Hey, you got to dress like the job you want." Well,
Exactly.
same idea.
Exactly. Oh, that's interesting. I've
Yeah.
never heard it said in its scientific terminology,
Yes,
but
there is some
that's
science
cool.
behind Prince. One of the things we studied at length for the rise of Prince was Prince's childhood. And one day I was watching clips of Prince interviews, and he was on the Arsenio Hall show in 2014. And he talked about a moment when he was 16 that really struck me. And it was part of launching this project. Prince talked about being 16 and being broke and needing a job. And he said he did what teenagers in the 70s did when they needed a job, which was go to the yellow pages. Remember those? Big yellow book. And he paged through the entire yellow pages, and he couldn't see a single job, a single company that he wanted to work for. So he said, "You know what? I decided to be a musician, and I decided to win at it." And I thought, you know what? That's striking, because we happen to have a 16-year-old, and I'll tell you, they aren't always that deliberate.
Right.
But Prince had a hunger inside him. And I think that same hunger is behind this project. I mean, in my case, it's more a form of curiosity
Mm.
of can I replicate this? What will happen? But it's amazing how hunger and that those deliberate decisions informed Prince's career to the very end.
I feel like you kind of have to be hungry for success, you know?
You too. I mean, and what you're doing,
Yeah.
the drive you have to do this. You're doing
Yeah,
it
and
really
like
well.
hunger is another word for, drive and whatnot. And,
Yeah.
obviously in the month of May, I did a video every day. It was kind of like a test, I wanted to test myself. I
Yeah.
wanted to say, like, is this something that I could do?
Right.
And, and of course I piled on the pressure. By this month, also me, I launched a brand new YouTube channel, and I've also been making videos for my other two YouTube channels
Okay.
other than that one. So on top of doing a video every day in the month of May for Prince's Friend, so it really is like it was a super super like huge challenge. And the fact that I was successful at it proved something to me that, like, okay, well then I can amp this up and I don't need to go that crazy anymore.
Right.
But
Right.
but I'm ready for that next challenge because I got this. But without that drive and without that hunger, I would have never challenged myself. I would have never experimented. It's that you do
Yeah.
need that. It's like that's like a key component, and that's something that I did learn from Prince as well. I would always see him, and he would always be doing something else, doing something new.
I think that's you're the perfect example. I mean, you're doing it. And Prince, I think one thing that I've learned about this already is that a lot of times Prince, people like to call Prince a genius, and somewhat like set him up on this pedestal. I think it makes them feel almost like they're off the hook. I mean, to be brutally honest, if you put someone up on a pedestal and say they're a genius and
Yeah.
we can't match this, well, you don't have to do that then, right? But the honest truth is he did have extraordinary otherworldly talent. I mean, there's no denying that. At
Hmm.
the same time, he would have been nowhere without that hunger,
Right.
right? Because I mean, I've learned this when I go to writing classes. I used to go every summer to a writing festival in Iowa City. I was stunned every single time in every class I took. There were at least three or four people who I considered extraordinarily talented. But it's what you do with it, right? I mean, I never heard from those people again, and I think, I mean, it's not putting them down, but it's just the missing element, right? Is the hunger and the drive,
Yeah.
and Prince had that in spades, and I think that's part of the lesson of this year as well is what you can do. If you really push yourself, we can all achieve more. I mean, we may not be Prince, we may not want to be Prince, but within our chosen endeavors, I think we can raise ourselves up and we can raise each other up.
You've said it all now with that.
Okay.
So thank you for being on the show
Oh
and for
my God.
coming and
Thank you
talking
for
with us and
having me.
sharing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
No,
can people find you?
follow me at lauratiebert.com. You can get daily blog updates. There's new blogs almost every day, and follow along on my journey.
Very cool. And I will definitely put a link to that in the description so
Sure.
everybody can, find you and go check out your blog because I think it's really cool what you're doing and it's in the spirit of Prince, which obviously I love, but it also it follows that idea that there's just so much that you can learn from Prince. And
That's right.
I've always thought that that's how I've kind of lived my life. So it's really cool for somebody to really be putting those things into practice in a way that, because I could say like, I've been living like Prince for 30 years. It's just like, but I have no proof of anything, but it's cool. Like you're just like out there and you're just like, this is what I'm doing. See the result, so it's
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
That's right.
So it's pretty
Thank you for
cool.
having me. Thank you for having me. Yeah, follow along. There will be more adventures to be had.
And all of you, definitely don't forget to go and check out Laura's blog. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/princessfriend. And as always, may you live to see the dawn. And we love you all.